So here we are, Moreton Bay Research Station and Study Centre. I believe they get something like 28,000 visitors through here, all doing different studies. They've got dry labs and wet labs and lecture theatres. You can actually live here as well, so not only in the VIP house, which is where we're staying, but there's a number of smaller rooms just down that corridor. Just behind this wall, we might wander over there and might see what equipment the researchers have at their disposal. Obviously, if you're going to conduct some marine research, you'll need a few boats, you'll need some vehicles. So we've got a number of boats that we've been doing our research on. One is called the Glaucus, which is this one. If I rotate to the left, we've got Pelagia as well. These are two boats that we'll be using throughout the week, and we'll also be using our bigger catamaran for our research at the same time. That one's called Valela.
So we're on our last morning on our marine research here for sailing for Seagrass. We've got a bit of a different strategy. We're going to split the groups up into 3 teams. And there's a fair bit of competition this morning actually. So we've got Mike over here to my right. Yesterday he spent time on the little tender just behind us. I'm going to be on that today, but we have a target to reach. So how did you go yesterday? You had a target of 100?
Yeah. So yesterday I had the target of Pete and I had the target of 100. We didn't quite get there. We got to about 75, which was still a fair effort for a second time ever doing something like this. But of the 75, you'll be pleased to know that it was probably 80% success rate hitting seagrass as we dived down. So you take that any day of the week.
Seagrass. Primary species would be Zostra, secondary would be Ovalis. Probably 40% Zostra and 20% Ovalis. Sandy sediment, or sandy muddy sediment, and the water depth is about 1.5 metres.
Thank you.
Glorious boat. Yeah.
So Mike is doing some surveys.
In amongst the southern part of Moreton Island. He's got lots and lots of mud. He's doing a little transect and he's actually in very shallow water. So he can constantly touch the mud and determine that there is actually no seagrass at all here. So there is a lot of sediment. We've been assured that once upon a time this area was full of healthy seagrass. But a fair bit of sediment has come down local rivers, which has totally changed the ecosystem here in this small location.
So this is the last site of the day, which takes us to 104 sites for the day.
And what have you got there?
We have 2 species actually. We have Halophila ovalis and Zostra muelleri. Sedimentation can affect the health of seagrass populations, so we did some coring, which involves using conduit serrated pipes to dig out large chunks of seagrass leaves and the roots. We then sieve out all of the sediment. It's then taken back to the laboratory to determine how much of the biomass is above the sand and how much is beneath the sand. This gives us an indication of how healthy the seagrass is and how turbid the water is.
The reason why we're here is to look at the health of the seagrass populations here, or the seagrass meadows, but I really wanted to see a dugong. We didn't have much success. We did find Well, I'm going to say it, we found a bit of dugong poo, which was pretty exciting. It means that they're around, but something really great just happened. We just saw one pop up next to the boat. Now, they're pretty shy, they don't like to be around humans or large animals, so it took off pretty quick, but I can now cross that off my list. We did see a dugong, which is pretty impressive, so it was just behind me here.
Three, 4, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. Shell grit 3.5 meters. 172. Can you just highlight that and make some note about need to look at GPS because it was actually too deep to get to, and we didn't write down the chords.
So guys, this is probably going to be the last time you hear from me today. The teachers are working in the background, collating all the data from the day and the week. The research project has been really, really amazing. I've learned so much. Today especially was something that I never thought I'd ever do. We worked on the southern end of Moreton Bay. We worked in an area where we have to record the data, where the seagrass is living, where it's healthy, where it's not healthy. And it's probably the part of the bay that's affected most by sedimentation and pollution that's running out of the rivers, which means it's really, really murky. So murky, in fact, that I couldn't actually take the video down there because you just can't see more than probably 20 centimetres. So we did all of the research by feel and by touch and by getting basically a nose length to the bottom of the bay, which was just amazing. At some points it was so thick with sediment and mud that it felt like I was putting my hands down into powder or flour, if you like. So it was really amazing. But this trip has been a real eye-opener. It's been very hard work. I'm really tired. We just spent so much time in the water. We get up so early. But I saw some fantastic things. You may see some photos, or may have already seen some photos of some animals, like turtles. We saw some sharks. I saw a dugong, which I've never seen before. I was pretty excited about that. Some amazing species of sea stars, all the seagrass and the animals that live within them. And it was just such a huge highlight. I actually saw a wobbegong shark yesterday, followed by another and another and another. I saw 7 in the space of 100 metres. So I've learned so much, I've had so much fun, it's been absolutely phenomenal. And if anyone has got any questions about anything, I want you to come up and see me when I'm at work next week, because I'd be happy to share more photos and my adventures with you. Thanks for coming on for the ride. See you at school.
Any second now.
Had you